I got one in the face. Did y'all see that? There you go, guys. I think that's all we got. I'm sorry. First, hang on, just a second. I want to introduce myself a little more. We get any more? Is that it? If you didn't get none, I'm sorry. We'll have an IOU, okay? I gave those Skittles out for 2 reasons, and I'll reveal the second reason later, but the other one was for just so you guys could have something to kind of chew on, and I'm sorry if you didn't get some. Share. Right. Right. Who's sharing? Now I'm kind of out of breath. I'm out of shape. My name is Bruce Guthrie. I'm originally from the state of Arkansas. Anybody got any relatives or anything you know about Arkansas at all? Yeah, well, pig. Yeah. Not very good right now, so we'll not talk about that. In 2021, I lost my son to a fentanyl poisoning. And fentanyl is something that, believe it or not, Carroll County for the last year or so has been number 1 or number 2 in fentanyl deaths over the last year or so. They're fluctuating between Carroll and Clayton County. And I texted the coroner last night and he said this year alone, we're at 27 drug-related deaths, 17 involving fentanyl. That's what he knows about. There are several cases that are still pending toxicology reports. And I think that's something that I want to bring this to you guys because the demographic, even though in Carroll County right now, the average age of somebody who dies of a fentanyl poisoning is 39 years old. But that demographic is getting younger by the day. When I got here, how I got here, I've been a sports writer for the last 20 some years. I was a sports editor in Arkansas, managing editor. And then when tragedy hit, I started looking for places to move because I couldn't handle the reminders anymore of everything because I lived right by the hospital where I first saw his body. And it just was too much for me. So my wife and I were like, okay, we can go. And I picked 4 places, and this is the place that had the first job that I could take, and all it was a lateral move. The same company that owns the Times-Georgian owned the newspaper that I worked for in Arkansas. So it was kind of a lateral move. And I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Carrollton, Carroll County, Georgia, has been very good to my family, and I want to thank all of y'all. And y'all have something to do with that too, and I really appreciate that. It's been very good for us. It's been very therapeutic for us. And I want to tell you a little bit about Cody, and we're going to get into some of that. But first, we're going to show a couple of videos here that I want you guys to watch before we really get into this. So that video tells a lot of what I'm going to talk about. It touches on a lot of things. I want to come at you guys with a number. 295. This is going to roll. This is actually the video that we played at his funeral. When you go to funerals, you get to visit all the photos. This is him. And from the time he was really small right up until he was grown. 295. 295 people per day are dying from fentanyl. Every day, nationwide. I did a video with in the first video, James Schiller Paul, who's standing right back there, did a lot of that. I think we're gonna give him a hand for his work. Come on. 295 per day. When I did the video with him, that you're gonna see later. I mean, it's gonna be around. It was 100 to 150. That was what, James, a year ago? Barely a year ago. Now we're up to 295. That's verified by the Drug Enforcement Agency. Can you imagine 295? And I know for a fact that some of your classmates have parents that have died from this. I know it for a fact because I've seen them, I've met them. They come to my office now and they talk about losing their children. The grandparents of your classmates come and talk about losing their adult children to this very thing. And it's so many ways. For my son, it was an addiction. He was a baller, just like you, God. He was a football player. And he broke his ankle, and he started getting on painkillers. And when he couldn't get the painkillers anymore, the addiction didn't go away. When the painkillers went away, the addiction didn't go. And he just kept going and kept going and kept going until he got in trouble. Was in the federal prison system for the last 10 years of his life. When he died, he had been out of prison for about 6 months. Where the photo in the video where he's squatting in front of his truck, he bought that on Halloween night, right before he died of Halloween night 2020. He was so proud. He'd gotten himself into debt. He was so proud. But a few months later, he was gone. And I don't exactly know where he got the pills from. I have my ideas. I don't know where he got them from. I don't know where. And I racked my brain trying to figure out, how did he get a hold of these things? How can I definitively prove who gave it to him? How can I do that? And that's the part right now that eats away at me. It's the injustice of the whole thing. Where did he get them? The truth is, you can get it anywhere. I had a Splenda packet. I think I put it down. We didn't have any extra. I knew I was going to need an extra one. But I put it down. Is there one right? Oh, it's right here. Y'all have seen these, right? Everybody seen these? This much fentanyl right here can kill every person in this room. Every person in this room. And you don't have to even put it in you. All you have to do is touch it. Carrollton Police Department in Carroll County, they have to wear special gloves in case they come across it. Because a lot of times when they go into a house and they search and they do things and they touch, they're not even looking for this, but it's there. And if they touch it and it gets in their skin, they go to the hospital and they can die. West Memphis, Arkansas, a state trooper goes into a house searching, and he runs across, he doesn't even know he's running across it. It's residue. He was in a coma for 3 days. Guys, this is absolutely serious. And I'm not going to say I don't mean to scare you. I absolutely mean to scare you. And you don't know where it's coming from. And I know as young people, we experiment. Let me tell you about this. This is North Little Rock High School. It's a 7A school in Arkansas. Any Alabama fans in here? We got a few. Do any of you are old enough to know who Alty Tenpenny is? You ever heard of him? He was a running back for Alabama. He was Cody's teammate. That's the school he came from. And Cody went in there, a 7A school, went in there as a safety before he didn't have any summer work at all. By week 2, he was a starting safety. He was that talented. And not to brag, but I'm kind of bragging. But that is what fentanyl and these drugs will steal from you. It will steal everything that you ever dreamed of because it takes you. I've been to DC twice, marching on the White House, talking about trying to get them to listen to us about border security because it's coming in from Mexico. I have a photograph from the Whitesburg police chief of a clump of white rainbow-looking powder that he got in somebody's car. Whitesburg, Highway 5, between here and Atlanta. Whitesburg. And it was pure 100% fentanyl. Just last week, Richmond County in Augusta. You remember I just said that a Splenda packet would kill this whole room? They got 15 pounds of it in Augusta. 15 pounds. And in our paper today, there's another seizure from Carrollton PD of fentanyl. Guys, it's here. And I don't know if you guys, and I'm not gonna ask you, if you experiment, if you do, look, I come from the pot generation, okay? We want it legalized, we do. But people are lacing weed, marijuana, with fentanyl, and it's killing people just like that. That's how some of this is happening. That's how some of it's happening. Fake pills. The motto here in our campaign is one pill can kill. There in Mexico, where all this is coming from, the DEA is seizing warehouses full of pills with pill presses, and they're making them look like Xanax. They're making them look like Adderall. They're making them look like the common stuff you guys take. And it's pure fentanyl, and it's killing. It's such a big problem that we're losing family members, okay? Let me ask you something. How many family members do you have? And how many people, you think about how many people it would affect if one of you died? Because we're talking about mothers, fathers, grandparents on both sides, aunts and uncles on both sides. I bet you know somebody. As many people that have died in Carroll County, you know somebody, if it hasn't directly affected you. Hope Movement Coalition is an organization in Arkansas that helped me whenever I was going through the loss. And like I said in the video, I had no idea that I was going to be burying a child. And even though he was 29 years old at the time, and his birthday is next week, he was 29 years old at the time, grown man, didn't have his own insurance, and I sure didn't think to take out any. Y'all know how much funerals cost. It costs a lot. This organization helped me. And they helped me in such a degree that now I am an executive board member for this organization. That's why that video exists. They're disguising pills to make it look like all kinds of things. And you don't know. If you're out there and you say, well, I have a trusted source. I've been buying from this person for years. Well, where is this person getting it from? Do you have an idea? Up the chain, where is it coming from? Do you know? Probably not. It's Russian roulette. Does everybody know what Russian roulette is? Yeah? It's like playing Russian roulette every time you buy a drug. And I know sometimes, there are a lot of people that go through things and they have to deal with it. Because I want to talk about also how we got here in my situation. Cody had mental health issues. There's no doubt about that. Mental health is a big thing when it comes to drug addiction because that's what a lot of times is what leads to drug addiction is certain mental health things that we just can't deal with. Y'all go through stress, right? Y'all trying to go to college? Y'all trying to figure out what you're gonna do in 6 months when you graduate or a month when you graduate, whenever it is? Pressure from your family, pressure from peers. Gotta have the right clothes, everything's gotta be right. Do it. Am I walking down streets here? It's stressful, right? We gotta make A's. We gotta get good grades. We gotta perform. We gotta be the best. And sometimes that stress can be too much. Or maybe you're not having a good time at school. and you got to find a way to deal with it. And it's becoming more and more and more dangerous. Cody was a football player. He got hurt, and the painkillers is what caused the addiction. That's just one way. Whenever you get to a point to where you have to get it from the street, that's when the dangers come. Everybody done with their Skittles? Yeah? It's okay. What if I told you one of those had poison in them? One of those Skittles were poison. See how you're feeling now? All y'all that ate Skittles, if I told you one of those in those packets, maybe not all those packets had one in them, but what if one of those packs had a fentanyl pill in it? You'd be dead. You don't know me, but you took my Skittles, right? Guys, it's that serious. It's that serious. And I want you guys to understand it. I want you guys to know. If you're partaking, find a way to get help. And I want to talk to those, even those that are watching this. If you're an addict, find your way to recovery. Find your way to recovery. Because I'm telling you, whatever you tell your parents, whatever you tell your friends, saying that I'm an addict is a lot better than us going to your funeral. I promise. It's a lot better. I didn't handle it well. And even if I had to talk to your parents, I would say the same thing. Listen, but you guys got to talk too. If you're having issues, talk to somebody. If there's something going on, talk to somebody. There is no shame in that versus staying alive. Because that's the goal here, guys. That $2.95, that's every day, I want it to be zero. I want it to be zero, and I want to start here. I want to go to your graduations. I want to see. I'm at the paper. I get your names every time y'all do something good or bad. I get your names come across my desk. I want those things to be good. I want to see you guys graduate from whatever college you want to go to. I want to see you guys do things, do great things, invent great things, be entrepreneurs. I don't want to see your name in my obituary column. Please, please. I don't want to see your name in that column. And I see it more and more every day. So what I'm going to do now, and I have no idea what time it is. We're good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my wife here who handed out your Skittles. Blank, don't kill that messenger, because there was nothing in there. Y'all are good. She's going to come around. Does anybody have any questions? She's going to have a mic, and we're going to have a little Q&A session. So you guys can ask whatever you guys feel is on your heart. We got one right over here. Hold on, we're going to bring a mic to you, one at a time. You're going to step out in the alley, or in the aisle? Step out in the aisle. You don't have to give your name or anything like that. We just if you have a question, just ask. Oh, I don't know your name, so that's what I'm saying. Huh? No, this is me and you. Come on, we can talk. Go ahead. What is that? Is fentanyl? Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid drug. It was initially created for pain medication for intense, really bad pain. They used to give you. I'm not medical, but it's for a lot of times it was for cancer patients going through chemo and trying to make them more comfortable and everything like that. Now in its proper use, it's a very good drug, and when it's properly used and administered, administered is not a word, and when it's administered, then it's a very good, very helpful drug. What we're seeing now is it's being illicitly made, and what I mean by illicitly, it's being made by people that don't know what they're doing. And that's what's making it poison. Now, I want to say there is a difference between the word overdose and poison. Okay? Now, the word is that we're getting people that are taking fentanyl intentionally, and they're using that, and a lot of the dealers are giving out with it Narcan. Everybody know what Narcan is? Right. It's the stuff that reverses the fentanyl effects if it gets to you in time. And it's a really, really good thing. But dealers are giving Narcan to, with the drug, which is crazy to me. And it's happening here. And some of them are doing it and I'm going to give you all any ideas, but they're giving the buddy system where it's like, okay, you do the drug, and if you go out, I'll bring you back, and then I'll do the drug next time, and you bring me back. Isn't that crazy? What kind of sense does that make? You talk about Russian roulette. That's like putting the bullet in the next one and said, hey, I got the tweezers. If it goes through your head, I'll pull the bullet out for you. Isn't that crazy? Is that it? Okay. Anybody else have another question? Don't be shy. Yeah. Other end, they're going to make you walk today, man. Oh, I can't tell you amounts, but I'm gonna tell you, we are, like I said a while ago, we are number 1 or number 2 in the state in deaths. We're switching back and forth between Carroll County and Clayton County are number 1 and number 2, and they're kind of switching back and forth over the last year. It's here, y'all. They're picking it up. It's in Carrollton County too. It's all around you. And one of the things that we're fighting for also is that we are trying to get murder charges levied against dealers who sell this, and when people die, and a lot of the prosecutors, even here in the Coweta district, which Carroll County is a part of, they are going and using the felony murder statutes. There's one in Harrelson, I think, that is being adjudicated for meth, and there's another one, I think it's in LaGrange, that they're doing for fentanyl. I am pushing this as hard as I possibly can to get dealers charged with murder when they deal a drug to people like us and we die. And to me, it's murder. To me, it is, and there's a couple other folks, organizations nationally that want to call it drug-induced homicide. To me, it's just plain old murder. Whenever let me ask you guys something. What do you think would happen to you if you guys got drunk and you got behind the wheel of a car, you had an accident, and it killed the person that you hit? That's what should happen. But what do you think would happen? Don't you agree? Isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same kind of thing? It seems to me that when you do something illegal and it causes death, you should go to prison for a really, really long time. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with that either, but I'm not going to. That's a whole nother conversation. We're going to talk about death penalty and things like that. But that's we could be here all day. I know that's kind of what y'all want, but that's not. But I want you guys, when we get down to it, there is a lot of layers to this, and there's a stigma to it. And part of that, and I dealt with that a little bit ago when we're talking about if you have issues and you need to talk. The reason that I said that it's better to talk about it than for us to go to your funerals, because there is a stigma attached that, that we were bad parents. And the reason why my son died is because I was a bad dad. And the reason why, I had one preacher tell me that the reason that God put tragedy on me was because he had to refocus me. And I'm going to be real honest. I wanted to pull that guy over the pulpit. People are talking about, calling us bad parents, calling people who are addicted, who can't help the addiction, as bad people. And the people that are dying from this are not just those that you see. I mean, we're not even talking about the homeless folks that you think are drug addicts. We're not talking about what they call crackheads and all this that we used to talk about. A lot of the people that come to me are very well-off people. We're talking about people that are pillars in this community that you would know. And I can't say names, but I know some of you would know them because they are people that are in this community that stand out. And it's not just the stereotypical drug addict. Because like I said, we're not getting these things traditionally. It's not just, hey, can I have? You got the stuff? It's not that. It's in your Skittles. Sorry. It is in things that you would deem in your own mind to be safe. Is that understood? You guys understand all that? Okay. Any more questions? Because I think I'm about done here. You like watching my kid? He's a good-looking kid, right? No? Who said no? Yes, sir.
You talked a lot about fentanyl being in marijuana, in pills, and opioids, and things like that. What about just your run-of-the-mill vapes? Have we seen any fentanyl laced inside of vapes?
Well, I've not heard of that personally. Not that it couldn't happen. There have been reports out there where it depends on. I think it depends on where you get your vape, and I think it depends on. I mean, I wouldn't honestly, guys. I wouldn't vape anyway. If it was whether it had fentanyl in it or not, I wouldn't vape at all. But I don't. The thing about those is that it depends on where you get them. If you're getting from I don't know. That's not a question that I could answer intelligently. I think that anything that you get off the street is dangerous, one way or another. But it's just, we have to. Do people tell you all about choices all the time? Oh yeah. Oh, this is my granddaughter. That's it. He left behind a 5-year-old daughter. She was 5 years old when he died, and that's him teaching her how to do a push-up. And it's really cool. She is the spitting image of him. I got some videos of them too. They're really cool, and she's doing better. Her and her mom and her stepdad are back in Arkansas. They were in Texas for a while. She's thriving, and I'm really happy for her. But guys, this is the kind of stuff you miss out on. And I just want to say thank you guys. What time do we have? 9:20. 9:20? Okay. Is there anything else?
Okay.
What you got?
First, I was going to get you kidding, but one thing, and my husband, touched on it briefly, is that fentanyl is being put into pills that look like they're supposed to. Whether it be hydrocodone, Percocet, Vicodin, whether it be Adderall, ADHD medication, you cannot look at that pill and see, oh, that's got fentanyl in it. These drug dealers that are doing this have the actual pill press. It looks exactly like you would get from your doctor. there's no way to tell that this drug has fentanyl in it. There's no way to tell just like they can, like say with PCP and meds and things like that, they can do it with fentanyl. And there's no safe way to tell. There's no test you can do. The only way you would know is if you potentially die. So, and like, he said, is that we know that you like to experiment, as that's just being honest. That's just being real. Everybody wants to say that, don't do drugs. Yes, that is true, but we also know that it's going to happen. And the terrifying thing about that is that you don't know. You are taking a risk every single time that you take something that is not given to you by your doctor. And you've got no way to know. The color, what it says on it, there's websites where you can go and you can look up, so this is what your medication is supposed to be like, pill identifiers. If you went on there and took it and looked at it, it's like, oh, this is exactly it. It's got the same number, it's got the same imprint on it, so that must be safe. It's not. They are professional.
In the last DEA conference that I went to, they showed a comparison of what a real oxycodone was supposed to look like. And then they showed a fake one. And there wasn't much difference. If you didn't see them side by side, you couldn't tell the difference. I mean, you could, but like she said, the numbers, everything else are all the same. Give her a hand. I think she probably should have been up here instead of me. Very well spoken. I met her in a newsroom about 8 years ago. And for her, it was love at first sight. It was. Are there any more questions before I let you guys go? And I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a day. We have another question? Go ahead. Yes, they are giving you the word. They waited until you got over to the other side before they raised their hand. You don't have to work. You get your steps in, babe.
I know you said that the average is around 30. What's the youngest that you've seen?
In New York, infants. In New York, there was a daycare that got a package shipment, and they didn't know what was in it. And they got in there, and it was a daycare. And they put it in the infant's room, and the infants got to it, and 3 children touched the box. And it had fentanyl residue on it. Touched the box. 2 died, 1 survived. Yes. In the last month. In fact, I was in DC 3 weeks ago. It was a week before that. And in DC, there was a story of a young mother. So this mother is from Kentucky, and she had been an addict for years. She got pregnant, and she decided, for my baby, I'm gonna get clean. And she got clean. Had the baby, changed her whole life. The baby and the father they weren't together, but they were co-parenting. The baby at 3 years old was at dad's house, and she gets a phone call. Baby Cash is gone. He had gone upstairs to a woman's room where that he had taken in and gotten hold of some fentanyl in her room. And she saw him lying there dead, picked him up and put him in the bed with his father. He woke up the next day and the boy was gone. That woman who kicked addiction lost her baby to that very addiction. And he wasn't even addicted. All he had was one-time contact. And he just had his fourth birthday was just a couple of days ago. I met her in DC a couple of weeks ago. Another in Boone, North Carolina. Anybody know where Boone, North Carolina is? Appalachian, right? Happy state. Girl walks into a house where her friend is. Walks in, hadn't seen her friend in a little while. Takes a bottle of water. dead before she hit the floor. It had fentanyl in it. She'd never touched a drug in her life. She took one sip of a bottle of water at her friend's house, and she dropped dead. I'm telling you guys. You want more stories? You want to be scared some more? This is Halloween, I guess. You want to be scared some more? Huh? We got one more? Where? Yes, sir.
Obviously, I'm an educator here.
Yes, sir.
As an adult, can you speak to, because I've got one that just graduated, I got a 19-year-old, 21, 23, all three in college, and I talk to them all the time about addictive behavior. Unfortunately, my children had made this choice to vape, and they tried to kick vape, and they bite into a nicotine pack, right? So they're trying to do, so I want these kids to understand how easy these behaviors are. How addictive is, let's say, controlled use of fentanyl? Of course, you're talking a lot about death, which is absolutely true. You speak to like how addictive some of these substances are and how they don't realize by experimentation leading down to further experimentation to death. You're talking a lot about accidental, but you keep mentioning it, and I say the same thing to my kids. We talk about experimentation and trying to explore and find out, blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, everybody does it. But, I appreciate you trying to scare the hell out of them because what happened.
Did it work?
I mean, that's why I try to talk to my own children.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
I don't think we get to fentanyl first. I think it's something that we live up to. I think when you're addicted, and the addictive process, okay, so we all have addictive behavior in my mind. I'm addicted to caffeine. For me, it's coffee, it was Diet Mountain Dew, it's soda, it's Smoothie King. Ugh. We all have addictive behaviors, okay? It's in us, it's ingrained in us. I think how we get there, and nicotine is one of those things too. Look, I got a little brother that didn't start smoking until he graduated from respiratory therapy school. Make that make sense to me. But he is now addicted. He's having heart problems because he's been smoking for 30 years. I don't think we get to fentanyl right off the bat unless it's introduced to them right off the bat. And I would hate to think that was something that they first were partaking of. I think we graduate to that. And, even when the cops are exposed to it and they feel it and they pass out from it or whatever, there was one guy that said it was the best sleep he ever had in his life. Imagine that. So the addiction, I don't know what to say about how we get there. I just don't think that it's the first thing that we hit. I think it's pills or it's opioids in general. I think it's probably heroin. I think because my son, first thing he was on was roxycodones. And he was getting those off the street. And I'm not sure, like I said, I don't think that he bought fentanyl knowing that he bought fentanyl or he got fentanyl knowing that he got it. Like I said, I don't think he bought it. I think he was given it, but I'm not going to get into that either. I just think that he had something that he didn't know I just think he didn't know what he had. And guys, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be Adderall for focus, right? Because that's a lot of what students do when they want to focus for a test, they want to study, they want to be up all night, they want to do this, they focus. You got some Adderall. You got some, whatever, Xanax, whatever. You get it from somebody, and it doesn't matter who it is. Can you really, really trust it? Not whether or not you got it, the person that you got it from, but what about the person that they got it from? And so on, and so forth, and so on. Any more questions? Go ahead. This is fun. Okay. Ooh, that's a heavy one. I would say be their friend as much as you possibly can. Be their friend as much as you possibly can. Listen to them, urge them to get clean, find ways to help them. There are plenty of places here that you can recover. The brand new, that's a year old, the Recovery Spot of West Georgia is an excellent resource. Carroll County Mental Health Advocates, excellent place. The crisis response team that we have here, let me tell you something. Mental health in Carroll County is in a really, really good hands because you have an organization here that is making a difference. They're making strides. They're doing great, great things. Jody Goodman, all of those folks down there are doing great, great things to help, to curb addiction, to get you, to meet you in a place to where you don't have to go you know what I'm talking about. I want you guys to understand, and what I said before, I want to see you guys in my sports page. I want to see you guys I want you guys to be your wedding announcements, your birth announcements. I want those things in my paper. Yeah.
To piggyback off of that,
Yeah.
you tell an adult.
Yeah.
Tell us a little.
Yes. Talk to someone.
You would have more weight lifted off of your shoulders if your friend is mad at you for a few years than if they were to die.
That's right.
Because that's a weight you can never let go off of your shoulders. So you always tell an adult.
That's right. Talk to somebody. And like I said a while ago, it is better to be honest and have those hard, tough conversations than for us to all gather at your funerals or for you to gather at your friend's funeral.
And if you don't have a parent, if they don't have parents, I guarantee you any teacher at this school would listen to you.
Mr. Mount sitting right back there. That's his job.
You are not going to be judged for what you do, for what they do. That life is more important.
Not only that, it's probably going to be confidential, right, Mr. Mount?
Yeah. You can say your best friend, honestly. I mean, it's so heartbreaking. And when I think about him, leaving him behind and leaving us behind. And what you don't realize is when you lose a child, when you lose a friend, when you lose a parent, is that there's a time.
A brother or sister.
There's a time in the morning where you wake up, whether you had a good dream, bad dream, whatever, and for just that brief second of time, you forget. You forget that they're not there, that you won't talk to them ever again, and then it hits you. You remember they're gone, and then you have to relive it over and over again. And when you're a parent, and you lose a child, there's not a word for that. If you lose a parent, you're an orphan. If you lose a child, you still have to be a parent, but you just don't have a child to parent.
Not only that, I have dreams about Cody every once in a while. I probably might have one about him tonight after all this. But when I wake up from those dreams, it's like I've lost him all over again. That's real. And I have to go and get my help. I have to go and do my mental health things. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank the school here for allowing me to be here, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.